Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell the truth about silver. Today is Saturday the 10th of April 2021 and we're publishing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 9th of April. We'll also briefly look at political events and economic reports which could shape what happens to the US dollar and therefore precious metal prices in the coming week. So let's take a look. Gold rose $14 last week from $1,730 to $1,744, having hit a high of $1,758 and a low of $1,721, a rise of 0.8% on the week. In sterling terms, it finished at £1,272. That's up £21 or 1.7%. And in euros, it closed at €1,465. That's down 6.1 euros or 0.4%, thereby showing the strength of the euro. Silver rose 29 cents from $24.99 to $25.28, having hit a high of $25.64 and a low of $24.63, a rise of 1.2%. In sterling terms, silver closed at £18.44, that's up 35 pence. And in euros, it closed at 21.24 euros, that's down 0.01 euros. The gold to silver ratio fell slightly, from 69.2 to 1 to 69 to 1. Bitcoin is down $1,000 compared with last week, and its price is currently $58,090. But no doubt by the time you receive this, that will have changed, potentially dramatically, the way its price is oscillating recently. The Dow Jones closed on Friday at 33,800, up 297 points on the day and up 647 points on the week. The S&P 500 closed at 4,128. That's up 31 points on the day and up 109 points on the week. And the Nasdaq Composite closed at 13,900, up 70 points on the day and up again 420 points on the week. It's interesting to note that the Dow is now up 42% over the past year, the S&P is up 48%, and the Nasdaq is up a whopping 70%. Brent crude closed at $62.95, down $1.91, and WTI crude closed at $59.32, and that's down $2.13 on the week. The dollar index stands at 92.16, and that's down 0.86 on the week. At one stage, almost down a full point. Now, our price trading range predicted last week stated, quote, "Our usual targets for gold and silver are still being maintained, though we do expect quite a move on Tuesday as UK markets reopen particularly. Our gold trading range therefore is between $1,650 to $1,800, with $1,600 and $1,850 as outliers, and silver trading between $24.50 to $26.50, with $23 to $27.50 as outliers." We actually broadened the outlier there because there was some potential of a significant move and potentially really downwards, though it didn't materialize. Gold traded comfortably within that range, and in fact it proved somewhat of a rather pedestrian week, if truth be told, in that the difference between its high and low for the week was just $37, or a little over 2%. You see, we saw gold fall initially on Monday, but in relatively thin trade, and then continue to rise, peaking on Thursday and falling back a little on Friday. To be fair, though, the price differential is so small it's almost statistically irrelevant. As we commented on the two videos we published early in the week, frankly, gold has more or less moved in line with the US dollar value. Something we suggested in last week's update would probably happen this week that's just gone, unless something untoward occurred politically. That said, it would be perhaps a little more accurate for us to state that this dollar effect was somewhat a day delayed, in that when the dollar strengthened, although gold started to dip, paper buyers entered the market. And when it weakened then on Friday, the price started to rise, that's the dollar price, the price of gold and silver, and then paper sellers entered the market, thereby pushing it down. We would thought we would make that comment, as accuracy is important to us. Now, technically, support for gold is seen near the 10-day moving average at $1,727, with much stronger support at the June lows of $1,670, a figure we've repeated now for a couple of months. Resistance is seen at the 50-day moving average of $1,761. Momentum, the fast stochastic and MACDs are mixed, really, suggesting somewhat differing outcomes, which to us points to a degree of further consolidation, somewhere close to current levels. Now, silver again moved well within our forecast with a differential of $1.01 between highs and lows, or 4%, which for a relatively volatile precious metal in price terms is really of limited consequence. We've seen larger moves than this in just one day, let alone in a week. Silver followed a similar path to gold, which also peaked on Thursday and fell back again, though ending the week, like gold, in positive territory, certainly in dollar terms. $25 seems to be the central point around which silver prices are currently fixated, with $26 and then $26.50 providing quite strong resistance and $24 strong support. If either of these are broken, to the upside or downside, then we could see silver rising quickly to $28 to the upside or down to as low as $22 on the downside. Now, in yesterday's video, entitled Why Are Silver Prices Not Rising as Global Economy Grows, and we put a link to this below, we pointed out why, in spite of a rise in global trade and an envisaged considerable improvement in the months to come, we haven't seen silver prices surge, at least so far. Now, US economic data published last week was mixed, with positive figures such as services PMIs, job openings, and a very strong rise in producer prices for March. However, opposing that, the weekly jobless claims data was disappointing, with 16,000 additional claimants in the past week, and a higher trade deficit for February. Taking a look at what we're expecting this coming week, on Monday we have the federal budget for March, Tuesday the NFIB Small Business Index for March, Consumer Price Index and Core CPI, all for March. On Wednesday we have the Import Price Index and the Beige Book. Thursday, quite a lot of data on Thursday. We have the traditional weekly jobless claims report, retail sales for March, industrial production, capacity utilization, all for March, business inventories for February, the NAHB index for April, and the Philadelphia and Empire State manufacturing indexes for April. And then on Friday, building permits and housing starts for March, and preliminary consumer sentiment index for April. So Tuesday, and particularly Thursday, are the 2 days to watch out for, specifically. Now, the big political news in America for sure is Biden's planned $2.2 trillion infrastructure spend. And as we mentioned last week, we will cover this in a separate video as more details are released. But coupled this plan with the $1.9 trillion stimulus package already announced, certainly suggests the USA are on the road to MMT economics, buying its way out of recession for sure. But perhaps all of this news will be eclipsed this coming week, because most of the media across the world will undoubtedly be covering the passing of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, husband to Her Majesty the Queen. So to supersede that news, there would have to be some significant occurrences to capture the news media interest. So where does this leave us for gold and silver prices this coming week? Well, as this past week we've experienced, the price in gold and silver will continue, in large, to be determined by yields and dollar strength or weakness. An improving economy should for sure ensure major support for silver, as the monetary demand appears to be diminishing. It's now a question which comes first, the lowering of price due to reduced monetary demand or the increasing of price due to increased industrial demand for silver. But as we pointed out in yesterday's video, the industrial demand may not be quite as quick or hefty as many are forecasting that it will, in view of the fact that some major economies, particularly within Europe, are beginning to close again due to upsurges in the COVID pandemic. Now, our gold trading range, therefore, for this coming week is maintained between $1,650 and $1,800, with $1,600 and $1,850 as outliers. And silver trading really between $2,450 to $2,650, with $25 being that axis point really around which it's going to move. And just for safeguard, in case something is announced untoward, we've got $2,350 to $2,750 as outliers, though we're not really expecting silver to reach those levels. Now, tomorrow we shall be publishing episode 17 of Bitcoin versus Gold and Silver, and yesterday we published on the Richard and Greg channel our thoughts and experiences concerning the Duke of Edinburgh. So if you haven't listened to that, we provide a link below. Please pop over and do so. Meanwhile, do share your thoughts on today's update. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. And whatever happens, have an enjoyable, safe weekend and prosperous week ahead. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.